Hello everyone, good morning. Thank you very much. This is the 11 a.m. Regular Sunday meditation followed by a talk on behalf of the Tibetan Buddhist Society of Canberra. Thank you everyone. So take your space and secure your space to sit. We'll do a very good silent meditation first of all for about good 40 minutes to settle our mind, and I suggest you all to secure your space, and I ask you to observe 4S. 4S, very easy to remember. We're trying to make it very easy, people. 4S. First is stillness. So you should physically sit in the correct posture. Stillness doesn't mean stiff, by the way, so don't confuse stillness with stiffness. And stillness, and then that's physically stillness, and also attentively very still. And second is sincerity, which is very sincere motivation. You do this meditation for the benefit of not just now and the session, but not just for you and the body, but for future and others, and for our mind stream, for the benefit of others. Very benevolent, sincere motivation. So it's opposite of selfish motivation. Lots of people do meditation just for me. So don't confuse the sincerity with selfishness. So all these S's I like to do. I like to play with words. And then third is serenity. Serenity. You should make sure that not now, in spite of being very physically still and sincere, your mind have to be very serene and focused on the subject of meditation. And that's your posture, that's your breathing, and that's your counting the breathing forward, reverse counting the breathing, whichever technique you use, because I'm not going to interrupt the 40-minute meditation. I'm still going to just use the gong in 3 parts and then allow you to choose the techniques yourself. So the serenity is very important, because you need to keep the mind very serene, because you shouldn't confuse serenity with sluggishness. Quite a lot of people are sitting there but very sluggish, like a potato bag. It's just no, very, very serene. So no sluggishness, so devoid of all the dullness and sluggishness and kind of a lack of motivation. And the fourth S is the simplicity. Don't make it too complicated. Don't make it too complicated. Make it very simple. And don't try to follow very, very rigid rules. Make it very simple. Just sit and watch your attention that you have delegated to focus on the breath or the posture or the counting and forward. All of those, you try to make it very simple that works for you, so that your mind is not instead of being complicated, the mind is very simple. It's simply just sitting with you, and just listening totally to the body and the mind and the breath, and that way it will totally calm your mind, body, and spirit. Okay, so I'm going to do the short refuge prayer at the beginning. After that, I will use the gong in 3 parts, and maybe about 13 minutes each part, and then you just use those techniques of scanning the posture, watching the breath, counting forward, counting reverse, super qualified or qualified, whatever technique you may use, observing those 4 S. Oyenda Buddha Dhamma Sangha Ajere Pete Laitama Bhavaja Ajendala Ajare Vadavuduve Endabu Dadarama Sangha Ajere Pete Laitama Bhavaja Ajendala Ajare Vadavuduve Endabu Dadama Sangha Ajere Pete Laitama Bhavaja Ajendala Ajare Vadavuduve. May all beings have happiness and cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and a cause of suffering. May they know from happiness that knows no suffering. May they dwell in equanimity, free from attachment, aversion, those near and far. May all beings have happiness and cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they know our power and happiness that knows no suffering. May they dwell in equanimity, free from attachment, aversion, of those near and far. May all beings have happiness and cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they know our power and happiness that knows no suffering. May they dwell in equanimity, free from attachment, aversion, those near and far. zambada loye jera jera jejo domo endibaye jeje angolo godozo. Thank you everyone for sitting very still. Hopefully it's not stiff. But I'm sure you will be able to slowly improve your stillness to become very still and clear. Not so the people, when they learn to discipline to sit like that on a session with 3 subsessions, within the subsessions you try to create bouts of effort, and so that you actually observe the techniques and rules. So that's the meditation, regular meditation. Thank you for all of you joining me on the Zoom, as well as those at home, as well as the YouTube. We have many platforms through which people are joining, which is really good. Before beginning the talk, I would like to make a short announcement, and this is regarding our 10-day calm abiding meditation retreat. Our 25th annual 10-day calm abiding meditation retreat was scheduled to happen in Siba, both in person and online. But now it looks like, due to the COVID restrictions, lockdowns happening most places, we won't be due in person. But we are hoping that if the regional Victoria eases the lockdown, those people who are booked to attend in person can still go in Siba and attend the retreat there on Zoom, with the food and everything catered there. That's of course, you have to check whether regional Victoria is open or not. So, but otherwise, those people who otherwise we will still be running them on Zoom, and that's the 10-day one. Then also we've been requested if we could offer it part-time, of course. So we're going to make a provision for people to join the 10-day retreat, either every day part-time or actually at least over the weekend or some evenings. So people will have option of joining any part, because going to be online and on Zoom. So those provision will be made when you do the booking. So unless it is indicated in the website fairly soon, you can write to our secretary at sakya.com, that you wish to attend, say, any of the days. So we have scheduled so that early morning meditation between 6 and 7:30, and evening meditation between 7 and 9 are allocated, so that people who are working during the day can also attend those early morning and late evening meditations. And most of the teaching will be during the middle of the 9 to 5 sessions. So those people wish to have the teaching as well, then so they have a part-time. They can join part-time or full-time on Zoom. So those provision will be sent email and made known through the website very soon. So even people want to attend just over the weekend, just 2 weekends or 1 weekend, they can do, or they want to do a couple of sessions each day, they also can attend. So we want to maximize so that people can attend those. So this will be informed to you if you are on a mailing list, or if not, on the website fairly soon. So those people in the regional Victoria, if the restriction eases, then you can actually, if you already booked in person, you can actually go and stay there and have your food catered, and just go in the Gompa and then use the Zoom there. All this will be communicated to you, but I thought I'd let you know now, so that you have the advantage of learning it beforehand, having attended this session this morning. So now today's topic of the teaching, as a part of the series of the talk on the Eightfold Noble Path. Today's topic is right action. So, in context of what one does, but I don't want to really sort of repeat a kind of very basic thing about you shouldn't kill, you shouldn't steal, and all those things. Those are basically covered by law anyway. So these days you can hardly walk out of 5 kilometers out of your home, you'll be locked down, let alone doing all this severe criminal actions. So I don't want to dwell on those things because it's quite tedious and quite unnecessary. But I want to approach what right action means in context with view, conduct, and meditation. This will be very useful because the rightness of the action means an unmistaken action. And so this means usually they talk about 2 sets of wrong you abstain, 2 sets of right you practice. And then there will be always right, not only by the books, but also by the people and set of circumstances. So, but in the 2 sets of things you abstain, 2 sets of things you practice are still to do with the view, as well as conduct, as well as meditation. Yeah. For instance, we were doing meditation, and I also like to believe that you spend a bit of time doing meditation. How do you know that your meditation is a good action? How do you know your meditation is just escapism? So it's not some kind of to mask yourself from real life, So there's quite a tendency to people think people who meditate are escaping life and not dealing with life things, real issues of life. So we have to so that's the perception of other people. But how do you make sure that your meditation is actually right action? So this is what I was saying during the meditation. You got to make sure that you observe the 4 S. If you observe all the 4 S's, and if you restrain all the 4 other S's, I don't know whether I got all the other 4 opposite S's, the stiffness, selfishness, sluggishness, and I don't know, scatteredness, I think. If your meditation suffers all those other S's, they are not right action. You're sitting there, but you are stiff, and you're sluggish. You're scattered and you're selfish. Oh, I don't like this. I didn't get anything out of this meditation. People stand like that. So that your meditation is inaction, definitely. So it's not right. Not only non-right action, wrong action, but it's inaction. It's fruitless. A lot of people meditate and they say it didn't give me anything. Why? Because they're falling into these 4 S's, 4 opposite S's. Therefore, their meditation will become fruitless. But so therefore, to make your meditation fruitful, you need to have that sincere motivation, benevolent meditation, not just for you, not just for the body, not just for now, but for the mind, for others, and for the future. This kind of benevolent motivation. Then the sincerity is there. Then you sit there, even though the session itself wasn't really necessarily enjoyable. By the way, don't promote your meditation will be fantastic. We usually say your meditation will be challenging. So, the challenging though the meditation it is that it has become transformative. These days I can't believe Buddhist courses saying, Buddhism, happiness and the causes. They think that's Buddhism. Buddha never taught causes for happiness. Buddha said all happiness are future sufferings. All happiness contaminated by desire, hate, and ignorance is food laced with poison. So Buddhism don't promote happiness. Buddhism promote freedom from suffering, and it's liberation. So these days they're watering down Buddhism to some feel good, vegan non-violent, this kind of very, very wishy-washy sort of things, Buddhism was taught as path to liberation, enlightenment. so therefore, we have to have the motivation for the benefit of future lives, for the benefit of others, for the benefit of and our mind stream, benefit of other people, benefit of future lives. We have to have such attitude that project for the benefit of long-term, we call far-sighted vision. People have far-sighted vision, not just short-sighted. Not just doing meditation with short-sightedly. Doing it for the long-term benefit, People go to retreats, in the first few days they sit, and then they disappear on the fourth day. Because they went with that kind of short-sighted view. They want to feel good. They want to feel good and feel everything sensorially, feel sort of enchanted there, like any kind of other, most of this New Age meditation, Try to make you temporarily feel good, but there's no liberating at all. And because they thought they were going to be taught how to be happy, temporarily on a skin deep level. Buddhism goes much beyond skin deep level. It goes beyond the heart and core of your heart. So that's why when we talk about meditation, we have to have the right kind of attitude with which one meditate. If you're not having the right attitude in the meditation, without sincerity, without altruism, meditation is done for short-sightedly, for me, for my body, for very, very short, very, very specific purposes, and they're most likely to be disappointed. So that's why it's important that the meditation that we do has to be very sincere and not short-sightedly for me, for now, for my body, and all the rest. And so one needs to abstain all the stiffness of the attitudes and the body, but one should practice all the aspects of stillness. The mind has to be very, very sincere, and one needs to stand by the sincerity, not just in good times or even very difficult times. People make arrangement. People, when they are doing celebration, when they're doing big party, they want to choose the time and date and make sure that everybody comes on time, that all the things you prepare goes exactly as you like and everything becomes exactly as you want. They don't. But when the tragedy and difficulties, they come unannounced. You don't have to make any arrangement. They just come out of the blue. There you have to be very meditative. There you have to bring your stillness. Your stillness should be such that it is not wavered and shaken by the unexpected turbulence. That's real stillness. Stillness isn't that everything goes as you plan and then you are so happy. That happens only once in a blue moon, and I haven't seen any blue moon yet. I don't know, you have seen any blue moon? There's some say super blue moon, super full moon, blue moon. These things have happened. So we have to therefore abstain the stiffness of life and meditation and behavior. We were talking about the abstaining the wrong things. A lot of people's action is when they do something right, they think that's so stiff and so rigid. Sure, some things you do are good in that given situation, but in the other times it is completely uncalled for. So even right action is only right action in the context of right attitude, right circumstances, and right time, and all of that. So that's why when we talk about right action, we have to have in context of the right view. In the meditations, we try to develop serenity and clarity of understanding that all things are but transient, And if you attach to transient things as permanent things, they will prove to be unsatisfactory. The unsatisfactoriness is not with things and people. It's because what we poisonally expect them to be what is not. The food laced with poison defeats the food's purpose. Food itself is still food, but when it's mixed with poison, when you eat the delicious food, the taste was there, but once you eat it, it start hurting you. A lot of times people are doing the meditation with a wrong view. Wrong view. Wrong view. They want happiness. They want happiness from meditation. Meditation is, Buddha didn't teach meditation for happiness. He taught meditation for enlightenment, for liberation, from freedom from sorrow and their causes. Happiness is referring to much less sensorial level. Sensorial level, putting a warm jacket when you're cold, that's called pleasure. Pleasure is only temporary, but once you wear the jacket too long, you have to take it off. Is jacket happiness? Wearing the jacket happiness? No, it's just pleasant. But once it becomes hot, the jacket becomes cause of misery. So we have to distinguish between pleasure and happiness. There's the pleasure of the five senses is you don't need Buddhism for that. It comes from ordinary effort. You don't need any spirituality, let alone Buddhism. But Buddhism is trying to teach you so that you go beyond that, and therefore once meditation one shouldn't do just for certain expectations, things that one has in this life to be overcome by that. So therefore when one meditates, one has to have the right view in terms of not only the quality of actual sessional meditation, how make sure that you time yourself very well, you don't sit too long, but your session that you sit in the meditation is sub-sessioned, and even those are you have bouts of effort so that you are very punctual, you're very clear, and then you change your techniques throughout the time so that your physical stillness is not just our outward show. Your mental stability, attention of your awareness is the real stillness. The outward form of posture, whether you're facing a wall or don't really matter. I think if you're facing a wall helps, go and everybody's got enough walls in their home to go and face the wall. Why you want to be so stiff like a tree type of thing, but deep down your mind is not still. So it's very important that you don't become so rigid, but at the same time you don't become so sloppy and so lacking of discipline. You barely sit 10 minutes, you're getting up and moving, not that kind of thing. If you say I'm going to sit 45 minutes, just sit 45 minutes, but within reasonable kind of flexibility and I would say stillness, but attentive stillness. Stillness doesn't mean you push so extreme to the extent of you become so stiff and rigid. You don't enjoy. You don't even know what to do when the pain just excruciating and you can't focus your attention. At that time, you can still maintain your stillness. You breathe in to that very part of the body and breathe out. Maybe you need to make a little movement. That's fine. I mean, who says you can't move your legs, We're not torturing people. Some people think they didn't move at all, they sat still whole through, as if they are some marathon or something, We're not having a sit-a-thon. Buddha had a sit-a-thon he was sitting until he reached enlightenment. His pain was there right from the very beginning, He had too much pain before he sat. The life in the palace was more painful. So he wasn't escaping that pain. He wanted to bring on the pain. Bring on the root causes of the pain, He wasn't seeking happiness under the tree, Can you believe Buddha went left palace and went to the forest to seek happiness? Can you believe that? He must be going for a bit bigger purpose than just for happiness. He never received a course called Happiness and its Causes under the Bodhi tree. No, nobody said that. He left a pleasure. Those things are not, Buddhism does not promote that. this is even from on animals always know where there is a sunny spot, to sit around. We know the kangaroos up in Virupa Retreat Center. You know where they sit in the morning, where they sit in the afternoon. Wherever there's sunny, they all know where they sit. You don't have to teach them happiness as causes. They know how to seek pleasure where there's a warm. They know seek pleasure when it is too cold. They know somewhere is warm or whatever. So that is not Buddhism. These days, they say Buddhism, happiness is causes. They're all talking about all these different people of different professions, all talking about how to promote happiness. And Buddhism is watered down for that. So, our view of meditation, our purpose of the meditation is wisdom and liberation and kindness and compassion, and all these are the purpose of meditation. So that's why we have to really sit there with the meditation with the right, I would say, with sincerity. And then your meditation is right action. Otherwise you're sitting there, you didn't do the mowing of the lawn, you didn't do the washing, you haven't done any of the practical things, you just sat there in the room as you're becoming holy. Then your flatmate or housemate may say, oh, he hasn't done the mowing, he hasn't done the washing, he hasn't done anything. What kind of action? You're not doing right action. So meditation has to be incorporated. Say, when you're doing the house chore duties, do them willfully and mindfully and happily. And your house is cleaner, your garden is cleaner than you, and they are right action. Right action. You did all the things that need to be done, hasn't been procrastinated, hasn't been neglected, hasn't thought that it was someone else's duty, and then resenting they didn't do. That kind of nagging is not right action. But oneself actively meditating, and oneself also actively resting. When you have to put your feet up and have an afternoon rest, that's fine. That could be right action. Because you're not doing harmful things to yourself. You're not doing unproductive things yourself. And you don't have to feel guilty either while having a good rest. The right action is very productive. Right action in meditation is even more productive. Because you are able to develop right attitude, I would say right view in relation to past events, past incidents. And previously you thought it was wrong action of other person that harmed me, and you still keep resenting them. So that kind of attitude is a wrong action of attitude. So one needs to bring that in the meditation, and how to correct that in the meditation. How to correct that wrong view, wrong attitude about past or about someone else, and not to hold that view anymore. And when you get up from the meditation, you're going to get up without that view and opinion bogging you down anymore. Good on you. That was a good meditation. You're actually able to squash some of the wrong views. Wrong views in the meditation. You're breathing out, you're breathing in the right view, kindness towards your past, kindness towards the person, and getting rid of the aggression and ill will, resentment. If you're meditating in that level, then you will see that then in that meditation, you develop quite a few, you change quite a few wrong views into right views. As a result of that, you no longer have the heavy kind of feeling and bad attitudes and bad opinions about others and past and someone and yourself anymore, because in the meditation you pacify them. Yeah, your kind of serene and peaceful mind destroy that. If a cloth is stained, Chogyal Pakpa, the 13th century Tibetan monk, said, if the cloth is dirty, go and wash it, and then wear it again. He says, if the cloth is dirty, don't blame the cloth and burn it. If you do, you never will be able to wear that cloth again. Yeah. So if something has been mistaken, affected by past wrongdoings of yourself or others or jointly, then don't blame them, and then don't burn the cloth. Go and wash the cloth. Unless it's a unrecyclable cloth. Only one-off clothes. Maybe you're buying those shirts that are the disposable clothes. You just buy it today and wear tomorrow, throw tomorrow. Yeah, maybe you can do that. But if you bought some silk jacket or nice dress or something, I'm sure if they stain, they're washable. And your mother and your sister, if they did something wrong, they're just much worthier than your silk jacket, okay? They're washable. Don't burn them. See, this is wrong action, ill will. Because they did this, even that not by themselves entirely, under whatever negative circumstances, under a lot of stress they have. Don't treat them like a dirty cloth and burn them. Go and wash them. And practice kindness to them. Practice forgiveness to them. Don't practice aggression to them. Restrain aggression. Practice kindness. That's the right action. So we are not talking about not killing people. We are talking about changing your attitudes. Your wrong attitude is killing you. You don't have to kill anybody. You are killed by your own wrong attitude. That is, in good meditation, it's a right action. In my meditation, it became very clear. The penny dropped. I should part from that attitude. That attitude is the poison in my life. And I cannot coexist with this. No wonder I don't have any gratitude towards him or her. It's because my ill will is completely maiming me, disabling me. That's the right action. This is the right action. To abstain the wrong attitude and adopt the right attitude. And that action is a very powerfully, intellectually, emotionally intelligent thing to do. Where does emotionally intelligent things conceived and observed and adopted? In good meditation. In the clarity and serenity of good meditation, Buddha realized enlightenment. Infinite loving kindness was realized. And infinite loving kindness is eradication of all ill will and resentment and anger and aggression. So that's why loving kindness meditation is right action. Yeah, that's why how the meditation is right action, because you get rid of wrong attitudes. Yeah, of course, if you habitually drop certain bad habits that are interpersonally and your physically healthily is harmful because you're drinking too much, or you're smoking, or you're masking your problems by drinking and eating too much. Yeah, those things are what you have to understand. One has to now abstain. And one has to adopt non-drinking, non-smoking. And to do that, you should also abstain from going with those who smoke and drink. You don't tell them saying, I'm not going to be your friend because you smoke. Slowly, you're going to reduce your exposure to those smoky people. You don't find your nose going into the place where all the smokers are there, These days, all the places that people who smoke are very limited. Only limited areas of smoking allowed. Most places are for non-smokers. Don't you think it's good? Society is now belatedly changing. It's still legal to sell cigarettes, but still we haven't got a long way to grow up. They still sell toxic things, and it's written in the packets, it's poison, but they're still selling them, and it's legal to sell poison, and people are smoking them as if enjoyment, as it is their status, His Holiness Dalai Lama joked when he met the various leaders of, Mao Zedong and others, and they all pass on the cigarette to each other during meeting with great style, great style. And because His Holiness doesn't smoke, he's sitting with them. almost they feel that he can't do the stylish thing of a big gentleman. But of course his soul is deep down is very happy. He doesn't have to do a thing of that stylish thing doesn't get you anywhere but give you lung cancer in 30 years time maybe. Yeah. Okay. People don't take actions to transform their behaviors. So we're talking about right action in relation to self-conduct. What are the eating, drinking, smoking, lack of exercise, lack of whatever negative habits how they should be culled through meditation. In meditation, and when people come to meditation retreat, they give up smoking. They make vow. And we make a small ceremony during which they say yes. And they go home, changed person. Why? They sat in meditation, their mind became so clear. I cannot spend another, year smoking like this or drinking like this. This has ruined my health, my relationship, my pocket, and everything else. So why do I want to do this? So that kind of abstention, that kind of eradication of one's past behaviors is usually, some people are doing religiously. They go before an altar and make a little promise. I remember my brother, eldest brother, years ago when he was in early 20s. He was drinking, he was smoking. Oh, it was such a terrible thing. Nobody did that except him and the whole family. And my father and mother he was the first child and they loved him so much. But he was the one who's giving most problems. And it was causing quarrel between the parents and all the rest. And then one day my dad to tell my elder brother, you go in front of Choedak Rinpoche and make a promise to give up. But those days, then eventually he did. He went and did religiously promise to stop it. But later on, of course, he did it because he was afraid some religious kind of repercussion if he drank again. But later on, of course, he's a grown-up man. He says, I'm so happy that my parents made me to kneel down before His Eminence and make the promise, and I realize how much my health is better, unlike others who never quit smoking and destroy their lungs. So when we talk about right action, either some people come from religious conviction, they should stop this, or through meditation. Meditation is very, very scientific. They are all talking about meditation benefits scientifically, health benefit, social benefit, interpersonal behavior benefit, all of this. So when a person is meditating, their mind becomes so clear and so serene and so evident that what one needs to adopt and what one needs to reject. Incrementally. So these are just outer physical behavior conduct that are socially harmful, physically harmful, emotionally harmful, economically harmful, interpersonally harmful behaviors in drinking and smoking and drug and alcohol. And that causes people to give this strong kind of power to use aggression. They might be usually not aggressive person, but once they drink, they become very aggressive. And some of the severe accidents on the road happen during because people drink and drive. When people don't drink, their driving is quite safe, But once they drink, their driving is not safe. That's exactly food laced with poison. They think it's a party. They think it's a celebration. They think it's happiness. They think it's enjoyment. Yeah, but for how long would that enjoyment last? How long would that pleasure last? It deteriorates into complete opposite. So that's why it's really important. Where there is a unit of home in which one or two people drinks, there's bound to be suffering, bound to be conflict, and bound to be verbal abuse, if not physical abuse. And if this is happening between two adults, all the kids are going to be exposed to them, and they hear this foul language being used regularly, and they also learn only to use that. So how do we promote right action? Is when adult persons inform and reform themselves through meditation, then they will change their philosophy in life.
Yeah, view means philosophy. They have a good philosophy. Philosophy means as kind of love of reason and knowledge. And this knowledge and reason gives you power. It gives you power of self-confidence that I can stop. I don't want it. I don't want it to be dependent on this drink or this smoke or this kind of gambling or whatever habit that it is that has been caused to oneself. Because if it's not only causing harm to your health, but once there's a problem in you, there's half a dozen in your family get affected. And then another 6 to each of them. So the ripple effect is so devastating. You can see, monetarily and scientifically, technology, our Western world has developed so gallantly, but with it came all the opposite. They've been eating all the food laced with poisons, greed, and they think more is better, and competitiveness and discontentment, and that's why they talk about four types of money. Money that is friend, money that is the enemy, money that's useless, money that's the true wealth. This Chogyal Pakpa wrote that to the Mongol prince, when he wrote this long letter. He says, you should be mindful of your wealth. Is money that is enemy become cause of conflict? Money that is friend, meaning money that you have, a friend, yeah, you can really, through that you can give, you can help others, and you can help to reconcile, you can help the poor, you can, help good charitable causes and look after the poor and all the sick. That's money is real friend, You're really good at it. And money that's useless is making you work like a slave. And in the meantime, you neither have use for yourself nor for others. It only became a burden. So money that is useless, it's just hoarding, preserving, protecting. You're just like a guardian of this useless material that you never dare to either use for oneself nor help others. Just become useless burden. So money that is useless. Money that is true wealth is true wealth is bit more than true wealth is like a money that is friend, Then your wealth has actually made you to have power to help others. That you wouldn't. Others are completely powerless. That you have others who couldn't afford to send their son to the high school, they send them. Others who couldn't afford the eye surgery, you help them. That's a real wealth. It's given randomly for whoever you can benefit. Then it's real wealth, A lot of people are doing that. But so that's why right action in relation to money is like that, What do you do with money? Do you let it become enemy to you? Or do you let it useless? It'll become useless. Yeah, a lot of people hoarding. And in the meantime, they're even keeping secret from themselves where the money is. Not only they keep it secret to others, but they're also keeping the money secret. So it's useless. What's the point of it? You don't even know where your money is. And let alone helping you to your little sister or next door neighbor or someone who really could. So money is useless. So right action. We have to take right action. Right action in relation to money. Instead of letting the money to become useless, we have to practice generosity. We have to repay the kindness of those who have given so much to us. And we can empower others whose education, whose health, whose life is really tattered, and you can give them, and then your useless money become useful. Not only your money become useful, but you earn friend. You have friend now. You have friend. Because why they don't have friend? Because they have been miserly. That's the miserly people got a lot of enemies, I tell you. Generous people got a lot of friends. So simple as that. Right action in relation to what you do with your money. It doesn't mean you have to be wealthy to become like that. You might be just average. But the way you share things, the way you do things for others, It's making everybody friend, everybody feel loved. It doesn't mean just money. Some could be just your time. Some could be just your energy. When you do that, these are the right action. This kind of clarity comes from meditation. Otherwise you can read a passage in the Bible, you can read a passage in Dhammapada. They also say things like that. But people still say, yeah, nice things quote, but doesn't sink in, people only remember the passages and verse numbers. That's it. We say it's just above the throat. Means lip service. Because there's no realization through meditation. In meditation, you become all these screwed up thoughts, feelings become unknotted in the meditation. So through right meditation, you will take right action. So after meditation, not just daily or maybe a few days retreat, you really, I've got to do this. I'm turning my money into enemy. It's only attracting enemy. Even my brother doesn't love me. He hates me because he thinks I got more than him, and then he even relatives becomes enemies because of the money. Because you don't share them, you don't give them, and therefore they are jealous of you. They don't like your success. So it becomes cause of enmity, cause of competitiveness, cause of jealousy. But if you practice, if you do the right thing with the money, they will make money itself useful. It makes you happier than you kept it. If the one who was miserable without your help become happy, now they are happy with you. They love you, they respect you, and they always think you can help them. It's good. Even though you don't have, doesn't mean you be annoyed you can't help them. You can still help them in another way. Amazing. See, this is the right action. Right action is how to think clearly and then change one's physical, verbal, and emotional and mental habits. And this doesn't happen unless you meditate. Unless you have meditation. So therefore, right action comes from good meditation. In meditation, something clarifies. Penny drops, they call it. I think penny drop is very, very materialistic example. Penny. It's English analogy, this thing. It's all English, I knew that. Penny drop. Penny, pens, isn't it? Pens, that's what they're talking about. I think we should say the wisdom drops. The wisdom drops. When you meditate, the wisdom drops in your mind. Very good. I shouldn't think about him or like that. I should not talk about him like that. That's not right action. That's bad mouthing. That's enmity. That righteousness. I shouldn't do this. No matter how many problems he has, that's his problem. But I'm not going to add on top of that on myself. That's abstention. That's the right action, is abstaining things that you didn't do before that are negative. And second is abstaining things that you are still doing that is negative from past and try to get rid of that. So that's the abstaining past existing habits and getting rid of, and not picking new negative habits on top of that or new ones. So right action is uprooting existing bad habits. That's be the physical, be the verbal, be the mental. And so that's the right action. That's the right action. Nobody can see that, but you are thinking. But the wisdom is dropping. Wisdom is dropping. Wisdom is dropping because you are changing. You are changing your attitude. You're changing your behavior. You're changing your narrative. And in doing so, you're previously used to, every time you talk about your mother or mother-in-law, you have so much negative things to talk. And then your friend and others will say, here she goes again. But now, you don't go ahead, you don't repeat that again. You say, I used to be terrible about my mother. Now I really think it's completely wrong. That's attitudes are so wrong. I think opposite. You just sincerely need to believe that, and you need to make them believe that you have changed. That's the wisdom drop. That's the wisdom. In meditation, you will clarify that. So it's not the people's wrongdoing. It's your attitude about them that you need to abstain. Because people who are not doing meditation or on the path, they always think someone else is doing. That's the problem. Always externalizing, always scapegoating, always barking at the wrong tree. Even there's no truth. The dog doesn't have any truth, but still barking at the wrong tree. Would be good if there's some teeth in it bite itself. But we have to therefore abstain the barking at all, let alone the wrong tree. But look at one's own attitude, and this abstention of one's own wrong attitude, the existing attitude, is a right action. Be that ill will, be that wrong view, be that covetousness, be that enmity, be that resentment, be that guilt, be that grief, be that all of these are existing negative habits, and they need to be uprooted. That's the right action. So the uprooting of the existing negative habits, physically, verbally, mentally, whatever that case. Then not picking any new negative habits from people because he talks to you something, or she told you something, or you read something, or don't pick up any new negative habits. That's the right action. That's good. And so those are the true abstentions, And the true practices are that you meditate. If you don't have a good habit of meditating, you do meditate. If you don't study regularly, do study something useful. So therefore, if you have already existing good habit to study and meditate, improve on them, Don't pick something and then leave it on and finish and then pick something else. Always work steadily and make progress on the practice. So that's you're actually practicing, that is already good. Say if you meditate half an hour or 2 hour meditation, just always try to keep that. Do not lose that. Do not sort of exchange that with rock climbing, okay? All of a sudden you want to go surfing. Meditation out of the window. Meditation disappear. You go rock climbing, paragliding. Wait until you have the accident. Then you may realize, you should have stayed in meditation. Keep up the good habit that you have, good discipline. If you're studying something, if you're visiting your grandmother or mother or reading a story to her, maybe don't just to visit her twice a week, but improve the quality of the visit. Don't argue with her. Talk her nice thing. Make it a really loving kindness related visit. So not just to make the visit, but boring and dull and monotonous. Make that as a meaningful visit. How can you make sure this visit to my grandma is going to delight her more than the previous visit, So this is right action is improving the good that you're doing, improving the good that you're doing, and don't try to do it short-sighted, just all of a sudden your interest and then you drop it again. Don't pick up so many things, never finish them properly. Don't take up too many things. Take small things, but finish them. Don't take up many responsibilities, but those you do, build on them, improve until it benefits you and others and futures. So that is the kind of adopting right action that you have. Try to build improvement. Maybe that meditation. If your relationship with someone is not at best, for instance, don't let it go deteriorate, See what you said or did has worsened the situation. Don't worry about what the other person did to worsen the situation. That's none of your business. You wouldn't have any power to correct that. That's their side of the side of the net. But what I can do to de-escalate that, to take stress out of them, if I said this last time, they didn't go very well, go and apologize. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that last time. That hasn't really helped myself or you. Acknowledge that. Apology is a very good thing. It's a good karma, Right action is apology, most people think that they hurt their pride or something. It's good for your pride. Oh, lack of humility is the problem. If you have humility, if you haven't got any humility, you have a little humility, you think it's a problem? Yeah, maybe it's too little humility. Yeah, build slowly. Wisdom drop few times, and then it will at least fill the lower part of the ball and keep dropping. And you apologize today, and next time you feel, oh, I'm so glad I was apologize. You don't have the same righteousness and resentment and that anymore. Why? You took the right action of your non-apologetic attitude. Yeah? And also, how do you know was the right action? They felt you did take responsibility. You did so out of care for them, respect for them, and then it helped a number of other people as well. See the consequences of the result of your apology is enormously positive. See, we don't have that kind of far-sighted vision. Maybe you have to go to the optometrist where can you get a spec to wear far-sighted vision. I'm not talking about optical, We're talking about mental vision. Can I have a spec that I can wear far-sighted? not optical vision, but mental vision. You can see the future. Oh, if I did this, what would be future relationship between him and me and them? If I apologize, oh, what would it be like in 10 years' time, 10 days' time? Oh. You could almost foresee, yes, if I did it really good apology, it will be good. You could see. See? That is a right meditation. You can foresee the good from apology. You can see peace, because otherwise people think if they apologize, they think they're admitting their mistake. What's wrong with that? Admitting mistake is a good action. Right action. It's the right act. Instead of admitting one's own share of mistake, but still try to implicate other people. That's a wrong action on top of wrong action. That's a double demerit, Doesn't have to be weekend, Double demerit. One who admits one's own mistake lightens the burden of other person who doesn't have to blame you anymore. Thank goodness. You know what it takes? It's a big toll to blame somebody, But if someone admits it, do they have to blame again? No. It's so good, that if you admitted it, if you admitted something, not just because you're entirely wrong, that shouldn't be the motivation, okay? Oh, I'm entirely wrong. Even if I'm only partially wrong, and they're just equally wrong, but if I apologize my bit, it will at least ease the sort of seriousness that they're in this tension. With that kind of a vision and altruism, benevolence, you need to admit. This is very good. This is right action. This right action. Right action is not necessarily physical, You're sitting there in meditation. You're talking to yourself, and there are wisdom dropping. Yes, you should really apologize. Yeah, keep delaying all this time. I really should, yes. When? As soon as possible. Very good, very good. And your mind says, oh, really good. Where get I? This clarity of mind is so good, but, when it comes to doing, you still feel, no, I don't want to do this. He's just as wrong as me. Why should I apologize? Again, no, poor thing. If one of the two can apologize out of goodness, then at least it will ease his tension and stress. Out of goodwill, I should apologize. Not try to prove you are right. That's not the purpose. Purpose isn't so that you're going to be thought so you're right and nice. No, it's so that it takes away the bloody problem. So the actual problem is weakened and dissolved. Yeah, that's, wisdom drop is a kind of a ointment, When the ointment falls on the bruised part of it, then it heals, doesn't it? Heals. Yeah. Until you had a good attitude drop, you will suffer the drought of good attitude. That's the problem. The suffering of drought of good attitude. That's the misery. That's the depression. Depression is because you're so mean to develop right attitude. This is self-starvation. If somebody didn't allow you to eat, somebody socially distanced you for enough, but you are self-starving from right attitude. This is depression. Depression is caused by self-starvation of right attitude. So in meditation, you creatively, your view is changing. Right action. Yeah. Sometimes right action might be mowing the lawn, but sometimes right action might be mowing the bad attitude. Oh yes, I have to mow some attitude this year. Yeah. I can mow. The attitude can't be mowed by gardener, but garden can be mowed by gardener. Just pay him $200. He will do in 2 hours, no problem. But you do the mowing of your bad attitude. For that, there is no service provider. There's no service provider. So, someone wrote to us. Wrote to us. We have actually put it in a website because it's a nice testimony. They say, "Thank goodness you guys do so much. That is much better than paying $190 to a psychologist." You do because people are learning how to change their attitude through meditation. Because in meditation, they actually have some kind of a shift in their attitude that they thought were not possible. Because they're always so used to seek help from outside to prove someone wrong, In this society, the aggression is not enough from your own. They hire some highly educated people wearing wigs to prove somebody wrong, and then you feel you're good. Wow, gosh, that's so sickening. What a waste of effort. What a waste of money. If we can admit our own anger or unfairness and disrespectfulness and ungratitude and laziness and lack of discipline, and we can admit these things, and that's what meditation is. You try to breathe out all such things. You breathe in all the other things, and then all of a sudden, from the meditation, you have this crystallization of your mind, and this gives you the power of self-transformation. It's a health benefit of meditation. Your blood pressure will drop. Yeah? Your sleep will improve. and your family looks much better. They are much more worthy of love and gratitude, respect and kindness. Because you had an operation, not under the knife. They say, look at this. Pen is mightier than sword, they call it. Yeah, you had a pen. You had a pen drop in your pen. You have a pen. Because before you were penless. You didn't know how to write things properly in your mind. Now you can write things very well in your mind. And the pen dropped in you. Wisdom dropped in you. Pen is mightier than sword, they say. Come on, let's make up the sense of the saying. When is your pen mightier than sword? Come on. The wisdom, the knowledge that you gain from meditation, okay? Even without talking about meditation, they used to say, knowledge is mightier than force. That's what saying. Yeah? The knowledge is mightier than aggression. That's what saying. Pen is mightier than sword. But they're talking about knowledge. knowledge, theoretical knowledge, objective knowledge. But here we are not talking about objective, we're talking about subjective knowledge. Okay. And where does subjective knowledge comes from? Meditation. You can get subjective knowledge from listening. That's first level. You can gain subjective knowledge from contemplation. That's second. Third is highest is subjective knowledge comes from meditation. From meditation, you will definitely find a good Parker pen. Good Parker pen. I don't know Parker pens. It just came out of my mind like that. They're like $200 pen, something like that. These days, pens got not much use. Always typing. Yes. Check. Be mindful what you type. Be mindful of what you text, and who, and why, and when, and that sort of thing. So, if the pen is mightier than sword, that is the pen of your mind that's writing different script on your attitudes. Yes. And you're reading them. You're left with that script, okay? Check, make careful what you're writing. People are suffering, poor me, because what they wrote on their mind and what they told people, and they keep thinking that's them. They have miscommunicated and misunderstood themselves. They're telling all the poor me story to other people. Tell how much you have been loved. Tell me how much you have been supported. Tell how much your life is nothing without your people, your kind people. Say, I'm nothing without other people. I'm the gift of other people's wisdom, kindness, generosity, and you are. Right? That kind of attitude. That's the right action. You wouldn't believe. We all are experiencer of the consequences of action. If we put good thoughts, good attitude, good view, good meditation, and good conduct, sitting still 40 minutes every day, have lot to achieve. If you give 40 minutes a daily meditation, you must keep that going. You must also incorporate that in your everyday work. Everyday difficult situation level. How can you understand and embrace that difficulty with some degree of humility and kindness and tolerance that you previously were not willing to practice? Most people say zero tolerance. Now, if you're practicing right action, you can't be a zero tolerance person. At least double digits tolerance, please. If you can do it, triple would be best. Triple is 100%, so very good. So, even the double, don't just double in the teens, double in the 20s, double in the 30s, double in the 40s. Very good, very good. So you can see the right action. Yeah, right action. No longer zero tolerance. Definitely tolerant. Yeah. So have some, particularly those who are really difficult. The right action is when things get really difficult. Then the Dharma comes. Dharma is when there is crisis, when there's strife. How do you practice refuge? What does it mean you have a refuge? You got a string to wear around your neck and a little piece of name saying you took refuge and such and such. This is just ceremony. Real refuge is you're safe. You're safe from reacting. You're safe from overreacting. That's a refuge. Because if you did, you will harm them, yourself, and future, and all. So there's no safety. Refuge means safety. Because you fear the consequences. And therefore you tolerate the present difficulties for whatever it's worth. That kind of foresightedness is not a weakness, but strength. Strength to tolerate difficulties. Now, strength to swallow small sufferings for great benefit. Buddha completely sat there 6 years, tolerating every day the cold, the heat, the dust, the mosquitoes, all the elements were were harming his body every minute. But he used all of the hardships that he endured, small suffering, for great advantage. People do this for a single piece of metal. To wear a medal, they spend, I don't know how many hours training in the pool or running around the bowl after a bowl or whatever. Even for those things, people have lots of tolerance, lots of diligence, lots of camaraderie. Sure, hopefully they are all right action. We don't want to say they are not right action. We just wish they definitely have lots of diligence when they are allowed to. If the diligence was put into benefit of healing the suffering and misunderstanding, reconciling the difficulties, that is a real right action. Noble truth of the Eightfold Noble Path. Noble. It ennobles the person. It makes you feel that you have refuge. Not in some people or Buddha or out there. Of course, Buddha out there will completely be applauding you if you're doing that. Usually you visualize the Buddhas are sending rays of light. This time they don't have to send light, you have become light, okay? You are not always miserably waiting for the light to come to you. When you can become the light, you can dispel all the darkness. You don't need all these blessings from outside. When your mind is constituting itself blessedly. So, thank you everybody. You have really practiced right action by listening. If I said something useful, you definitely heard you all. And so we're going to conclude here. Unless you have one or two pressing questions, if you have, please indicate. If not, we're going to do the dedication merits. I'm going to do the dedication merits in Tibetan today. And in the meantime, those who are watching on Zoom, we will do a screen share of a special event we are hosting tomorrow night that is celebrating His Holiness Sakya Trinzen's Gongma Trichen's birthday at 5:30 tomorrow on Zoom. So we'll put the details here, but you may receive an email if you are on a mailing list about that celebration. So thank you everybody joining. O sonande damje zebanye damne nyebe dana banjene yega nanje balandu baye zebe zole rowan rowa joy de jo damje renje jendele dage zonanda ye gando ba denen jogen de jo dambe Rinjen Juma Mebe no Joje Jamba Bawe Jidaren Jamba Kundu Zamba de Yan de Janda Dada Gunje Jesu Daloje Gewan de Dadam Jerado. Thank you, everyone.